Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica, and along with my group mates Elizabeth and Joshua, we're going to be talking to y'all about benzodiazepines. So, to start off, what exactly are benzodiazepines, or as they're more commonly known, benzos? They are a drug class commonly prescribed to treat a wide range of conditions, including anxiety, seizures, and insomnia, among others. So, this pie chart here from a 2015 study in the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry features data from 102,000 adults. And it shows the main reason that people aged 18 and older take benzodiazepines. And we can see here that almost 50% of participants use them to relax or relieve tension. And the next highest reason is to help with sleep at 22.4%, and the list goes on.
Benzodiazepines were discovered by Leo Sternbeck in 1957. The now prevalent drug was initially the product of a failed acid dye experiment, and Leo Sternbeck took this product 4,5-benzo-hept-126-oxdiazines and created 40 different variants in an attempt to create an anti-anxiety drug. The 40th variant, named chlorodiazepoxide, passed both animal and clinical trials. The drug was then marketed in 1960 under the name Librium. This paved the way for the discovery of other benzodiazepines such as Valium.
Benzodiazepines have a general structure of a benzene ring fused to a 7-member diazepine ring. And for the various types of benzodiazepines, there are different functional groups attached, which is going to be shown in the next slide. And these different groups affect factors such as how quickly the drugs start working and how long they stay in the body.
Here we can see 4 of the most commonly prescribed benzodiazepines: alprazolam, lorazepam, clonazepam, and diazepam. Their common brand names are noted in parentheses. We can see their structures, and we see that 7-member diazepine ring fused to the benzene ring that was previously mentioned. Since these are the most prescribed, they are also the most encountered on the illicit market. We can now talk about the mechanism of action of benzodiazepines. They bind to their specific binding site on the GABA-A receptor protein, which is an ion channel type protein. The chemical interactions between the benzodiazepine and their binding site cause conformational changes in the receptor protein that enhance the protein's affinity for GABA. GABA is the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter of the central nervous system. Its binding to the GABA-A receptor opens the chloride ion channel so that chloride ions can enter the neuron. This influx of chloride ions causes hyperpolarization of the neuron, raising the threshold for any new excitatory stimuli. Thus, the brain has less activity, leading to a relaxed feeling. Here we focus on the pharmacokinetics of alprazolam. Alprazolam is readily absorbed upon oral administration. In vitro, it is 80% bound to human serum protein, which partially accounts for its relatively high mean plasma elimination half-life of 11.2 hours. Benzodiazepines are generally metabolized in the liver. The enzyme cytochrome P450 metabolizes alprazolam to 4-hydroxyalprazolam and alpha-hydroxyalprazolam. Alprazolam and its metabolites primarily leave the body through the urine, so they undergo renal excretion. It's important to keep in mind that benzodiazepines have both pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic variability, which leads to varied clinical responses. And just so you get an idea of the variability, in the pharmacology of benzodiazepines, the elimination half-life of diazepam is between 20 to 70 hours, and even longer for its metabolite desmethyldiazepam, while the elimination half-life of midazolam ranges between 1 to 3 hours in normal subjects.
The short-term side effects of benzodiazepines are, but not limited to, aggression, dizziness, drowsiness, sexual dysfunction, depression, and blurred vision. Some of the long-term side effects include cognitive problems, insomnia, immune system suppression, increased risk of cancer, and addiction. The withdrawal symptoms include seizures, insomnia, nausea, anxiety, depression, and other mental disorders. The addiction of benzodiazepines, just like any other drug, is linked to dopamine. The benzodiazepine binds at the alpha-1 GABA receptor, which inhibits the action of GABA neurotransmitters. This reduced GABA binding to the alpha-3 GABA receptor on the dopaminergic neuron results in increased dopamine production. And as a result, even though modern-day benzodiazepines do not bind directly to alpha-3 GABA receptors, this mechanism indirectly induces increased dopamine levels and make the drug very addictive. In seeking for a synergistic effect, people take benzodiazepines with other drugs without knowing the consequences. And to shed light upon this issue, the data on national drug overdose deaths involving benzodiazepines and other drugs such as opioids and synthetic narcotics should be considered.
When benzodiazepines were first released on the market in the mid-1900s, they were glamorized in magazines and other forms of media without much mention of their side effects. So for example, this graphic here shows Librium being marketed as an escape to reality by claiming to relieve the anxiety and craving for alcohol for heavy drinkers who wanted to stop. This graphic for Xanax, anxiety has many faces, but there is only one, can be interpreted as there are many reasons for anxiety, but there is only one cure for it, aka Xanax. So now onto the public perception of benzodiazepines. Like all drugs, benzos can be beneficial to a certain extent, but there are some negative effects associated with it as well. So to start with the good, benzos are a very effective treatment for many types of anxiety problems such as generalized anxiety disorder or GAD, which can present itself in many symptoms such as fatigue and impaired concentration. They can also be useful if taken only as necessary for social anxiety or cases of phobias. On the other hand, misuse of benzos can alter someone into a zombie-like state due to its relaxing effects, especially if someone takes it when they don't need it. And in addition, when benzos are used early in life, it can be easier for people to become more addicted as they grow older, especially if they take them with opioids and alcohol, like Joshua had mentioned previously. Finally, to reconcile both of these good and bad effects, there should be a solution moving forward. First, and most importantly, benzodiazepines should not be seen as a cure-all for a person's problems. Although it might make them feel better temporarily, long-term use has dangerous consequences. Therefore, benzos should be prescribed for short-term use only, and if symptoms continue to persist, then it can also be used as a bridge for long-term treatments such as antidepressants. And this picture here shows two very popular benzodiazepines. This long white rectangular one is Xanax, and this blue circular one is Valium. Thank you for watching, and we hope y'all learned a lot about benzodiazepines.